What's up, buddy shoppers? Joel Semino here with
Marilu. How is everyone?
Hi, Marilu. So we have a new intro video. It's not our video. It's kind of a default one. I liked our old one better, but we're going to get a new one made actually with some new sound or not sound. That doesn't sound right. A new track that we'll be compiling and putting together. So we'll have something of our own and we don't have to rely on third party, whatever this is, because I didn't like that. Anyway, so tonight's actually kind of special. Not kind of special. It's very special. Because number one, Marilu is not with me tonight, meaning not in the same building.
Not even in the same state.
Yes, not even in the same state. Marilu is in Florida.
Yeah.
Well, I'll let you tell everybody where you're at.
Actually, I am in this beautiful, gorgeous mansion in Reunion, Florida, which is actually right outside of Kissimmee. And it's the Inner Goddess Retreat. It's being put on by some wonderful lifestyle ladies. And it's our first afternoon here. And we've already gone through our bouts of like letting it all out and crying and talking about dick size and toys. So a lot has already happened. But I'm currently in my room while everyone else is getting ready for our silent dinner this evening.
What does that mean?
It's from the minute that a plate is placed in front of you, you're supposed to take an action of being mindful for not just your meal, but who prepared it, how it got here. And you're supposed to remain silent for the entire time.
You get backhanded like when you were little if you talk?
I don't know. I'll let you know, but I think it's one of those where one of the things that's going to happen is that you can only speak when you make a statement of being mindful. So it'll be interesting. Yeah.
It is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That's till Sunday?
Sunday, yes.
Wow, okay. Well, hopefully the weather's nice down there. I know you were looking yesterday and it didn't look too great.
But it's Florida. They say it's going to rain and oh my God. And, I get here and I'm sweating and I'm taking off my clothes.
You were worried about being cold.
Right. And I'm like, sweatshirt's off. This is off.
Right. So Chris is saying hi, or actually Laura's saying hi, April, Andy, Chris. Okay. So Marilu's room, for whatever reason, the lights are on a timer or a motion sensor.
Yeah.
And they keep going out on us while we're doing this.
So if I go black.
You are getting ultra impromptu live video. So you can see all the mishaps that happened.
A little mood lighting.
We got Chris, Angela. Hi, guys. Appreciate you guys jumping in here. So we're also going to have to cut this short because Marilu's dinner got pushed back. It should have happened already, and it's going to happen at 8:30. So we're going to kind of we're going to be on a abbreviated live stream tonight. So, but I will be in the chat later. Let me get that out of the way right now. I'll be in the chat later, probably after 10 or so Eastern. So depending on where you're watching, it'll be 10 o'clock Eastern, maybe 10:30, or not at all.
So what kind of questions do we have?
Oh, a lot, actually.
Really?
Yeah. Let me pull these up. Well, I think there are a lot. So a lot of these were kind of statements, but there's some that we can kind of breeze through relatively quick because we've talked about some of these in other in our other videos. So I'll run through these with you real quick. And I literally copied and pasted them as they were posted. So I didn't edit them. I didn't try to translate what they meant or whatever. So the first one is cuckold/hot wife. My assumption is they want to know what that's about. Although I think we'd know if they were asking about it. I'll let you decide. Protocol for singles in the club. That's interesting. We could talk about that briefly.
We could talk about that for days.
Well, we could, but we could give some bullet points on that.
Okay.
There was another one: privacy in the lifestyle, or lack of understanding of those who can't. I think, okay, it says lack of understanding of those who came out of the closet. And I think what that means is some people in the lifestyle are out, like they don't care who knows, whatever. And sometimes some people that are out, quote unquote, don't understand that not everybody's out, and maybe things get posted online or said in mixed company that shouldn't. So, how to tell, I think this is a good one, but we kind of covered this. How to tell your partner your fantasies without freaking them out or judging you. And if they do judge you, how to explain that if they are uncomfortable with the fantasy, when it's time to pack up and let's see, when it comes into the fantasy, when it's time to pack up and move on, asking for a friend. Right. Let's see, that moment when you're testing out a fantasy and it becomes a kink, when did you know? And I think the question is, when did a fantasy turn into a kink? Like, you know, this is something you need to do. Vetting, how formal, casual, where. I'm assuming they're asking how stringent our vetting is. And
or even just how you vet, you know, in general in the lifestyle. Because sometimes you get people that just friend everybody and you really don't know who people are.
Yeah.
Especially on Facebook, you know.
Oh, for sure. So the last two are introducing vanilla partners to the lifestyle, probably meaning how to, and then mentorship and mentee. And I'm assuming that means maybe if you were new to the lifestyle or BDSM or whatever, how would you find somebody to kind of mentor you through it. So, what do you think? It's a lot. I think we'll leave out the cuckolding hot wife for now.
Okay.
Let's talk about protocols for singles. Was there anything that jumped out at you that I read off that would be interesting to you to talk about?
The protocols for singles and the
I think I know one. Did I say open relationships and what kind of boundaries they should have?
No, you didn't.
Okay, I think I skipped that one. I apologize.
Okay.
So you said protocol for singles is good. Let's pick out two more, and that way we'll be kind of locked into that. It'll give us a few minutes for each one. Okay.
Two more. Well, the boundaries.
Okay. Talk about what kind of boundaries. I feel like the one, how do you talk to your partner, could be really long. So let's come back to that. Maybe we'll do that in a week or two. We'll couple with something else. And I think the same thing with introducing vanilla partners to the lifestyle. Those two things kind of go hand in hand. Okay, so protocol for singles, boundaries, and then we could talk briefly about vetting.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So, okay, let's see. Thomas is saying hi. We got all kinds of people jumping in saying hi. Thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate you. All right, so you're getting the express live version here. So we're going to buzz through. So,
and don't find me either, because I'm moving so the lights don't turn off on me.
Marilu's going to be exercising while we're live streaming. All right, so let's talk about vetting and protocols for singles. We can kind of couple those a little bit. We can segue in. So we'll start with the vetting, and then we'll segue into the singles protocols. Okay. So for the record, 99.999% of the time, when you create an application, I hope we're talking about the right thing. I hope we're interpreting this right. When you create an application, I'm the one that looks at it and typically approves it. So if you're going to be mad at anybody, if you got declined, I'm the person to be mad at. Not Marilu, not anybody else on the staff, me. Although once in a while I do say, what do you think about this one? And if I'm questioning it, like 99 times out of 100, the answer is no, not that one.
No. So. There's something a little skew, maybe. But as it pertains to vetting at the club, there are certain things that we look for, certain things that we expect for you to answer on the application process. Mm-hmm. So, and we talked about this a little bit before, which was basically, don't say you're, a really cool person and you just want to meet new friends. And the application part, because that really doesn't tell us too much about you or what your intentions are for coming to a lifestyle club. So we want to get a little bit more information. That's definitely one of the things that's part of our vetting. Right. There are some other things that are part of our vetting process as it pertains to the club that are our little secret.
I thought you were going to give something away.
No.
What's up, Marilu 419? Dominic, how you doing? So yeah, I mean, the application process is pretty straightforward. We get upwards of sometimes 10 to 15 per day. Mm-hmm. And out of those, probably half get approved right away. The other half kind of go into like a limbo. And typically there are people that put in some information, but maybe it wasn't great, but not enough for me to say, fuck no, right off the rip. So what I'll do is if it's, maybe, slow application day, I'll go back through them and say, okay, maybe I'll give this a second or third or fourth read. Mm-hmm. But, we talk about this in other videos, so I don't want to hammer on this too much. Put in as much information as you can. Sit and think about it. It's not, it's not even a job application. I mean, mm-hmm. A job application is relatively straightforward to fill out. Ours is too, but you need to really be articulate about what your interests are or why even if it's just you're curious. I mean, mm-hmm. You're curious about something. It's not, I'm just curious, right. There's something you're curious about. So put it in there. Let me know. I'm curious. I'm a mental voyeur.
And it's funny because last week we actually got an application from somebody that you were so impressed with their responses that you were like, looky. And you showed me and I was like, oh my God, that was so spot on, so articulate. And this was from a single male.
Yeah.
I believe. And yeah, we were very impressed with it. To the degree that where they answered is something that's only seen by us.
Yeah.
So we were like, oh my God, I so wanted to send him an email and go paste and copy what you put in here and put it as your profile about yourself because it was just so perfect.
Yeah, I agree. And mm-hmm. And it's funny I showed you that because typically the only ones other than the ones that I'm not sure about, the only ones I show you are the ones I'm like, hey, are you interested in this person? What do you think?
You throw a few of those my way.
Yeah, occasionally. So vetting is important, but I think monitoring behavior inside the club is 10 times more important. Mm-hmm. So let's use that as a segue to get into protocols for single guys. I'm going to preface this by saying, and you can agree or disagree, Marilu. Mm-hmm. I think this is going to be applicable to everybody. Okay. And what I mean by that is, there's not a standard okay, guys, do A, B, C, and D, and then the rest of the alphabet will follow. Because it's going to be different for who you're interacting with, I think. Mm-hmm. I'll tell you some absolute don'ts.
Right.
Actually, I'll let Marilu throw out the first one because I'm sure she's got a doozy. What is the first for single? Well, let's talk about single men.
Okay.
For men.
For men, the first thing is don't be the creeper. The last thing you want to be known as is the creepy guy that roams the hallways or the creepy guy that's at this particular club. I mean, people talk. Things get around. Once you get that label, it's very hard to get rid of. So, yeah, that's one of my first ones. And what do we mean by being the creeper? You see a couple, you don't engage in conversation, but you follow them through the club. You know?
And like, it could be that's being followed. It could be another couple. That's why I'm saying this is applicable to everybody, because it could be another couple following another couple. Yeah,
definitely. That's the creepy thing. Yeah. And that goes also with the don't be the guy in the hallway that's jerking off as he's trying to look through the blinds that people have drawn closed. Obviously, they want their privacy. You standing in the hallway, and I'm going to probably lose my camera here, and being all like, what's going on? As you're jerking off. Seriously? That's the creeper dude. So next one's yours.
Okay. So this one's going to be a little subjective, because I think there's a difference between being direct and being rude, about finding out what somebody else's interests are or how they align with yours or whatever. Because I've been privy to somebody just like randomly, and I'm going to say shouting out because it was loud enough, because this actually happened outside. I was taking out the trash, and I mean literal trash, not somebody we were throwing out. And I heard this person say, "Hey, so you like having your asshole licked?"
Oh my God, I remember that.
To the point where I stopped and looked over my shoulder, and I'm like, and then I didn't hear what the other person said, but then I heard, "Well, are you into that? Would you be into that?" And it's like, that's rude. And I did talk to the other people that were there later and said, "Hey, am I misinterpreting? Was it okay, or was this creepy or whatever?" And they said, "No, it absolutely was very weird, because they hadn't even been talking to the person before, and he just randomly spurted it out like somebody with Tourette's." You like having your asshole licked? Like, what is that?
I remember that. Yeah.
But if you're having a nice conversation, I'll let you say that.
What? No, go ahead.
If you're having a conversation with somebody and you feel like it's maybe moving in a direction where you might hook up, then you can kind of talk about what your interests are. Because we talk about how important it is, discussing those things and being upfront about what it is your interests are, but don't do it in a Tourette's sort of way.
And, we are all in this lifestyle, some for the full effect of it, which is swapping. Some are in it for being voyeurs, but not everyone is into total disrespectful, vulgar language. You might be, considered offensive to somebody. So, watch how you approach people. Just like if you see somebody that you find attractive, you're not going to like from across the room scream, "God, you see her tits?" I want to suck on those tits. Yeah. Sorry, kid. And I'm sorry.
You're making good faces, Marilu.
I am making some good faces, but it's also a few bottles of wine down.
I knew it.
Like, I knew it. But
we're getting to the point of Marilu having at least a bottle of wine before she does another video. Yeah.
But, those are things that we see, that we hear. Those are things that are brought to our attention by the person that's offended. Um, though, like I said, we're all here for the same thing and we're all looking to have fun, but you don't know what someone's level is. So something like that could be offensive to one person, and in the same room, somebody else could be like, "Yeah, bring it on." You never know. You really have to look at your surroundings, look at the people that you're talking to, and really mirror what their responses are to you. You know,
Mm,
that's how it works. That's how communication works.
right.
You know?
So a couple more don'ts. Don't there's this weird that I'm gonna say specifically for the body shop clubs because we are
Mhm.
single friendly and we have a lot of couples that are into single men and there are a lot of single women that attend. So don't be a wallflower. Don't sit in a corner and just hope that somebody walks up to you and says, "Oh, you're really attractive. Let's go in a room and have sex." It
Mhm.
I don't think it works that way. I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
I've not seen it that way, but it maybe has happened once for somebody,
Mhm.
and they were really fortunate in that regard. That's never happened to me. So have dialogue. Introduce yourself to people. That's a great way
Mhm.
to. I mean, literally say, "Hey, my name's Josemino. What are your names? My first time here, or I'm a regular, or I'm just passing through. Whatever." Strike up conversation. Um, Generally speaking, people have a hard time saying no. And this is, you go back to, what you're saying about being a creeper and following or
Mhm.
whatever. If you're having a conversation with a couple and they say to you, or it could be another single, whatever, they say,
Mhm.
"Hey, it was nice talking to you. We're going to go kind of check things out and see what's going on." That's a they're not interested. And if they are, they would invite you to join them or
Mhm.
say, "Hey, we're going to walk around, check things out. Let's catch up in a half an hour." They'll say that. Um,
Right.
but the majority of people that are not interested, which may be a lot, maybe a little, depending on who you are,
Mhm.
they have a hard time just saying, "Hey, no thanks, we're not interested." You can say that, and you should be okay hearing that, but not everybody does that. Typically, they're gonna say, "Okay, hey, we're gonna take off and go do something else."
Right.
Don't follow them. Don't follow them. Don't try and show them your dick or talk about how great your tongue skills are because that's not going to help. It'll
No.
actually make it worse.
Mhm.
If you're cool and maybe they're not, and maybe they're just not ready,
Mhm.
if you're cool about it, it could come back later on to be a good thing for you.
Right.
So,
Mhm.
but
Okay.
let's see, what do we say? So those are some general protocols for singles. We could probably talk about singles for a long time, but again, I think a lot of this is applicable to everybody at the club. It's
Right.
not singles. So
Mhm.
my big thing is don't put your dick out and start jerking up. That's a major pet peeve of mine. So it's just annoying. It's like, really, like,
It is at times.
and I don't have a specific rule against it. Definitely don't jerk it off in somebody's face who you've not interacted with before. Don't ever do that. That's a good way to get your dick slapped. Um, all right, so we got about 6 more minutes before Marilu's going to
Okay.
go to dinner. Okay, so the last one we were going to talk about boundaries, open relationships. What kind of boundaries should you have? I'm going to let you talk about that first because you have a correlation between boundaries and something else, and I'll let you talk about it.
Okay. Well, I personally think that boundaries are to each couple and each individual's comfort level. There's some people that will say they have rules, and there's some people that say they have guidelines. Um, and I guess everyone has to define what those are, because if you have a rule, someone might say to you, well, rules are meant to be broken. And if you have guidelines, a guideline is something that you can go back to, whether you're a couple, a single, um, in whatever dynamic it is that you're coming to the club, you can review that guideline and see how does it fit in your current day lifestyle. You may have started out one way and things have changed, and now that you feel more comfortable with the lifestyle, more comfortable with your partner, it might be something to review. And having a guideline gives you that option. Having a rule sometimes will come back to bite you because that other person your partner may not perceive it as in just having an open discussion, but as in a rule being broken.
Yeah. That's a great way of doing that. And for me, I like to kind of put twists and turns and spins on stuff rather than saying these are our rules or these are our boundaries. Using the word guidelines really leaves it open-ended so that, like, as you said, could be modified later, maybe. Back a little bit, maybe it was a little bit too much, or, hey, you know what? Let's move a little forward. This was cool. I like that. And, and as you stated, a lot of people, that changes over time. I would say more times than not, it gets more expansive. There are people that I've talked to that said that they've tried things that were like, no, that didn't work for us. So dial it back a little bit. But yeah, there's no hard and fast rules to setting rules. Like our first time, we're only going to do this or we're only going to do that. There's no like set, like these are the parameters.
Right.
You and your partner decide what those parameters are. And I'm gonna be very frank. If you're talking about rules or boundaries or guidelines and setting those things up, and you in your mind are not okay with the boundary that's being set up, it's important that you say that, because if you go to the club and in your mind that whatever that boundary that was set, you didn't necessarily agree to, you're going to have a tendency to want to break that rule, or you're going to break that rule, setting the whole thing up for failure.
Right.
You could break the rule and you're going to get home to your partner and say, well, that was a rule and you agreed to it. And now you've maybe sullied the whole thing.
Right.
So absolutely talk about it and be flexible. And meaning maybe it doesn't have to happen at that moment, but you can say, hey, I'm not ready today, but let's talk about it later.
Right. And the whole thing is to always check in with your partner, whether it's your hand and your dick or or your actual wife or life partner, or your hand in your vagina, check in, make sure everything.
How you doing, buddy?
Make sure that everyone's on the same page. Yeah. And it's always good to have those discussions. I know that, one of the things that I hear from most couples is they kind of relive the experience that they had. Well, take that time to also talk about all of the little nooks and crannies that went along with it. Was there something that you enjoyed, but maybe, wasn't all that it was meant to be? But, unless you say something and check in with your partner or your hands, you'll never know. And you don't want to create that sense of disappointment or resentment with your partners.
Yeah. And understand also, if a rule gets broken, that don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. I don't understand that reference, but I think everyone gets that. So why would you even throw it?
End all be all.
Right. It doesn't mean that's the end of your relationship. Many times when somebody, like I hear people talk about, oh, well, this, my partner didn't tell me about this, or they lied to me about it, or whatever. That happens because they're not comfortable enough in the relationship to be able to share that with you without fear of some sort of reprisal.
Yeah.
So it's important to, I'm not saying you would be at fault. I'm saying that you have to take partial ownership in that. There's a reason your partner is afraid to talk to you about certain things. So think about that. if a rule gets broken, something didn't happen at the beginning that you need to talk about now, and then walk your way through it.
Yep. Okay, so I see feet outside my door.
Okay.
So I think everyone's being seated for dinner.
All right.
So I'm going to cut out everyone. It's great seeing the comments here to the side.
Yep.
And I will let Gelsomino continue on for the evening. And I look forward to seeing you guys next week. Okay? And I'll let you guys know how the retreat goes. Okay?
Hey, yeah, put that on Instagram. Take some pictures.
Yep, will do.
Right,
bye, everyone.
All right, so you're going to have me just for a couple more minutes. I'm not going to bore you guys or anything. Let's see. Yeah, I'll read through some of the comments. Hey, Bella, how you doing? Keith Cook, my red stripe guy, how you doing, buddy? Just looking at these comments here. Let's see. Bella says, just because you think it isn't mean, you shouldn't say it. Right. Yeah, you just want to kind of be mindful of the things that you're saying out loud to people. Let's see. Yeah, Live Oak 419 says, speaking of that, I've seen that happen at other clubs. Just pull it out and start playing with it. Yeah, that's just, it's never a good look. And I don't care how big you think your dick is, unless it's abnormally large, it's probably not going to draw much attention other than negative attention. So kind of keep that in mind. I just don't recommend that. It's not, pulling your dick out is not the same as a woman pulling her top open for you to see her boobs. It's just not the same thing. You'd probably get further along if you had a cute ass and you showed your ass. I could be wrong. Maybe the ladies can chime in on this later. So all right, I'm going to let you guys go. I'm sorry we're cutting it short tonight. Like I said, Marilu's at this conference down there in Florida, so I'm going to try and be in the chat later. The chat at bodyshopclubs.com starts at 9:30. If I'm not in there, there will be plenty of other people in there, and trust me, there's a lot better looking people in there and naked people in our chat. So if you're a member, a current member, you get into this event for free, the virtual event for free. If you're not quite a member yet, then, put in an application and we'll see if we can get you in. I'll have about an hour or so free. If you want to throw in your application, I'll try and get them reviewed real quick and maybe we can get you in tonight. So anyway, I guess we'll see you next Wednesday. Thanks. DJ Cadence, how you doing? Watching on Twitch. Yay, Twitch. Dominic, good night. Thank you so much. All right, I'm out, guys. Have a good one.